Thank you for joining us. Welcome to Business Incorporated. I'm Chimeze Obi Iwagu. On the show today, South African regulator reviews volatile share trading. A Nigerian regulator sets deadline for 9 mobile takeover bid. Plus, Moody's says it's not anticipating Angola's debt default. We'll get started now with the markets, and here on the African continent, a South African market regulator is reviewing volatile trading activities sparked by market speculation that a research group would release a negative report on a listed firm. The regulator is reviewing unusual activity in Aspen Pharmacare, whose shares plunged 10% on Tuesday, prompted it to say it was aware of speculation New York-based Visory Research would release damaging information about the company. Aspen, whose shares have since recovered, said it had never been contacted by Visory. The Financial Services Board is working with the Johannesburg Stock Exchange to determine whether to open a formal investigation. In the meantime, the JSE index gained 0.79% at intraday. Here in Nigeria, the bulls are still taking the shine as the index was 1.33% up at intraday. Egypt is closed today but was up 0.33% on Thursday, and Nairobi traded up on Thursday. In the Middle East, markets are closed for the weekend, but most markets were in the positive on Thursday except Dubai. The Saudi stock index was 0.52% higher, with the petrochemical sector mixed, although Petro Rabah SE, which has also been boosted by news of production started at its Phase 2 complex, added a further 2.3%. It has jumped 9.6% so far this year. Dubai's index fell 0.14% as real estate blue chip Emma Properties lost 0.8%. The most heavily traded stock, amusement park operator DXB Entertainments, pulled back 1.1% after surging 13% this year. In Qatar, the index was up 0.97%. Medicare Group surged 5.2%, and Amal Corporation, which had gained over 6% in the past 2 days after announcing plans for an affiliate to build 3 local factories, added a further 1.1%. In Abu Dhabi, the index closed up 0.25%. Moving now to Europe, stocks moved higher on Friday morning as investors digested new earnings, data and political breakthrough in Germany. Let's talk to Daniel Coop now. Good afternoon, Daniel.
Hi there, Chimi. Good afternoon to you. Almost weekend. Hope you're doing just great.
I'm doing great, Daniel. Oh, I thought you were going to say, thank God it's Friday. Well, that's exactly what you say all the time. Anyway, the euro jumped to a record high after German lawmakers agreed on a coalition. How is the equity market reacting, and why is a strong and stable German government also important for business in the Eurozone?
Yeah, I mean, it's more than 100 days ago that we had elections here in Germany and still not an official government into office. The good thing is that we are what we are having here, according to our law in Germany, that there's always a government in office. So it's what we're having right now is just an acting government. Right now, Angela Merkel is trying to form a new government. We remember that she originally wanted to do this with the Liberals and the Green Party, but those pre-coalition talks failed. Now she's talking to the Social Democrats. The Social Democrats, also the party that she has been governed with throughout the last 8 years. And it seems that there really has been a breakthrough in those pre-coalition talks. We remember that the SPD originally, right after the election, said that they don't want to have a new grand coalition again, but pretty much they were forced also here by the German president to go back to the negotiation table, because otherwise we would have had new elections coming up, or a minority here in Germany that nobody really wanted to have. Now the news was breaking this morning. I guess it reflects very well here also on the blackboard behind me that those pre-coalition talks are mostly going to be a success, so that formal coalition talks can maybe now already be starting in January. Everything seems to be on a good track. Now on this weekend there's going to be a meeting of all the members of the Social Democratic Party. They will have a vote about this as well, and only after that we can really see if this is really going to work. But I can tell you from the investor's perspective, when I came into the stock market this morning at about 7:30 a.m. this morning, and it was still not clear if after this meeting marathon of 24 hours those pre-coalition talks would be a success. Investors were telling me that they are very nervous about this, because if we would have had new elections coming up, we would have most likely seen a landslide happening here at the stock market as well. Well, the blue chip index DAX right now is up with about 0.25%, a little bit dropping at the moment. The reason behind this, you also mentioned it, is the very strong euro that we are seeing. The euro also with a 3-year high today, reaching 1.21. A reason for this is also that this coalition most likely is going to happen. Germany, very important for a strong Europe, because pretty much what was happening during the last weeks, that many European leaders were a little bit hesitant to do big negotiations, to do big talks with leader Angela Merkel, because they knew that she is just the acting chancellor at the moment, not really the official one. So the other reason for this very strong euro that we are having at the moment are rumors that we're getting from the European Central Bank here, just a few blocks away from where I am at the moment, that from fall on we might see a stop of the bond purchasing program. This has been really giving the euro quite a big boost this morning here at the stock market, Jimmy.
Yeah, that's one of the contents in the ECB minutes that came out yesterday. And anyway, let's hope that some positive outcomes are recorded in tomorrow's meeting. Now let's go to the other side of the Atlantic. On Wall Street, Wells Fargo and JP Morgan are among banks reporting early in the new earnings season. Do you have some insights into these results, and what are the likely scenario of banks in your market?
Well, beside the euro, beside those pre-coalition talks, investors here at the Frankfurt Stock Exchange are monitoring what those two banks are going to publish. And now this new reporting season from the United States is going to be on the way also next week. We are getting first numbers already from JP Morgan, saying that they made a 25.45 billion US dollars, and that they were also winning more than $1.76 per share. This is actually higher than what experts were expecting. Most of the banks in the United States are really keeping a very close eye on how all this political and also financial situation in the United States is going to develop. Also now with the new chief of the Fed being very soon in the seat of command there. There's always this discussion, you know, how many times we're going to see higher interest rates next year, for example. So this is always a topic that is keeping those banks very busy. But certainly investors here at the stock market will be watching all of this very closely. It's going to be probably the #1 topic today on Wall Street as well.
Yeah, still on Wall Street, reports there say big banks there like JP Morgan, Goldman Sachs and Morgan Stanley are on a hiring drive in Frankfurt in a race to establish new headquarters inside the EU. That's in time for Brexit. How will this development impact your city?
Yeah, exactly. This is a very interesting development. All, of course, happening with Brexit. Jimmy, that most likely we're going to see, if hard or not, in 2019, which for many institutions right now based in the United Kingdom, in order to obtain their banking license, that they need to relocate. And Frankfurt, as a very important city also in the financial market here in Europe, is very much benefiting by by all of this. Other cities, for example, Dublin, Brussels, Paris, of course, also being very interested, but it seems that Frankfurt is right now benefiting from all of this a lot. So yeah, very interesting right now, also for graduates, for example, who are going to the International School of Finance here in Frankfurt. This could mean new job opportunities, certainly for them, with all those banks right now on the hiring process. I was checking, some of them are even organizing open house events here in Frankfurt, where graduates can really meet their possible new employees. So this is very interesting. What makes some people here in Frankfurt, though, concerned is that housing prices, who are already very high in Frankfurt, could with this even go more up. Here in Frankfurt, it's very common when you are looking for an apartment. I can tell you from my own experience in this process, just some months ago, it's very common that you pay per square meter here an amount between 15, 16, 17 euros. Sometimes this is considered as very high when you compare this to other cities in Germany. Frankfurt, together with Hamburg, Munich, Cologne, is really one of the most expensive cities here in Germany.
Well, that's quite interesting to know there. Well, thank you very much for your time, Daniel. I guess we're together next week, so I hope to see you again next week. Enjoy the rest of the day and the weekend.